Shabbat Shalom. We will begin on page 2, and I invite our women folk and anyone else who wants to join them to come up and light Shabbat candles. Any volunteers?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu b'charut me'asher Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you so much. You can see the candles too. We'll continue on page 6, which is 124 in the bracket. And I like to share these readings, some of these preliminary readings, where we go around the room sharing sentence by sentence. If you don't want to read, just say pass so the next person can pick up. I'll start us and we'll go around the room if we were looking down counterclockwise. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat.
Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations.
Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst.
Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured. Beacon of truth, love, and justice for all people.
Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness.
Holding up to them the vision of their truest selves.
Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives.
May we enter this place in peace.
May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Together, weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. We continue responsively with the next reading. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, things to express hopes to nurture.
May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy, and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. Together, may the synagogue be for all who enter a doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We'll continue on page 8, 126 in the bracket for those who have the electronic full version. And again, we'll share this, I'll get us started sentence by sentence, going around the room like we did before. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life.
God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services.
But I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to live.
As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator.
To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better.
To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it.
Together, to love God is to love the dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and bring that vision to life. We'll continue responsively on the opposite page, page 9, 127 in the bracket. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain.
On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that could never be exhausted.
On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal.
Together, so we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. Page 10, 128 in the bracket. Hinei matov umanayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim shevetachim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim shevetachim gam yachad. Hinei matov shevetachim gam yachad. Hinei matov shevetachim gam yachad. Bottom of 11, 129 in the bracket. Ele hamdalibi chusana v'anatitalam. 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 We continue on page 12, 130 in the bracket, with the first Psalm of the week. We're going to do excerpts of some of the Psalms, but not all of them, as there is a Psalm for each day of the week and for Shabbat. Lachune ranana, lachune ranana, lachune ranana, ladonai. Lachune ranana, lachune ranana, lachune ranana, ladonai. Naria, litzui shenu, nekadma fanav betoda. Naria, litzui shenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lachune ranana, lachune ranana, lachune ranana, ladonai. Lachuna ranana, lachuna ranana, lachuna ranana, ladonai. Can we have a reader for the English at the bottom of the page? Anyone volunteer?
Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai. Raise a shout for our rock and deliverer. Let us come into God's presence with praise. Let us raise a shout for God in song, for Adonai is a great God, the great Lord and all the mighty.
Together on the opposite page at the top, in God's hands are the depths of the earth, the peaks of the mountains are God's. God is the sea, God made it, and the land which God's hands fashioned. Come, let us bow down and kneel and bend the knee for Adonai our God. And we are the people of God's hands, the flock of God's care. Oh, if you would but heed God's charge this day. We continue on page 18 with what's been known sometimes as a standing psalm because it mentions the divine 18 times, like one form of the Shemona Esrei or the Amidah. So if it's your custom to rise, or just rise in spirit, whatever you're comfortable with. Mizmor David, Avu l'Adonai b'nei, Avu l'Adonai kavod v'os, Avu l'Adonai kavod shemo, Yishmachu l'Adonai b'char kodesh, Kol Adonai Elomayim el kavod yirim, Adonai Elomayim rabim, Kol Adonai b'kavod, Kol Adonai be'edah, Kol Adonai shomer arazim, v'shaber Adonai et ha'avanon. V'kikedem k'mo ego levon bon Sirion k'mon bon Rehemim. Kol Adonai hotzeit labotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yachayel ayalot, V'chesor yarod, U'cheselo kulo merchavot, Adonai la'am kol yasha, V'yeshev Adonai melech le'olam, Adonai oz le'amo yiteh, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. You may be seated. Those last two lines should be really familiar for those who are familiar, whose routine includes Birkat Hamazon, because that's the final two lines of Birkat Hamazon. And this is the psalm it comes from. We continue on page 20, 138 in the bracket with Lecha Dodi, and we will do verses 1, 2, 8, and 9. Yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai dai yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 dai. Lecha Dodi lekrat kahala Pnei Shabbat Kabbalah. Lecha Dodi likrat kahala, Pnei Shabbat Kabbalah, Shahamor v'zechor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el cham yuchad, Adonai echad, U'shamo echad, L'shenu tiferet v'litilah. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kahala, Pnei Shabbat Kabbalah. Lecha Dodi likrat kahala, Pnei Shabbat Kabbalah. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha, כי מכוך הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה ומחשבה תקלה לך דודי לקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה יאמין ושמאל יאמין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תעריצי על יד איש בן פרסי וניסנך ונהגילה לך דודי לקרא קהלה לפני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקרא קהלה לפני שבת נקבלה בואי השלום העטרת בעלה גם בשמחה וזכור חולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה. You may be seated. Sorry, I didn't announce that we stand on the course between the 8th and 9th verse, but most of you already knew that. We continue on page 22, 140 in the bracket with a song for Shabbat. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב לדוד לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, וזמר לשמך העליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמנותך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי הגיון בכינור, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב לדוד לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, וזמר לשמך העליון. כי שנתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך אראה, מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מקשותיך, איש בה לא ידע, וכסיל לא יבין, וכסיל לא יבין זאת. צדיק כתמה יפרח, כארז בבלנון יזכה, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. ינובו בשיבה, דשנים ורננים יהיו, להגיד כי יש אדוני. זורי ולא הבלטה. Sorry, I was getting a little choked up on this song because I was thinking of something even more than focusing on the words, which I should have been focusing on better. Dorothy Feldman, one of the elders of our community, has entered hospice. And when I get to this part that talks about the elders really of our community, I think about people like her. Page 24, 142 in the bracket. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei hamalachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Setachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim HaKadosh Baruch. We'll continue on page 27, 145 in the bracket. In the English in the middle of the page, together, teach me, O God, a blessing of prayer and the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning in light renew our days. Bless my day to day, as the one before, less routine set my ways. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the divine presence. We rise for the call to worship, found on page 28, 146 in the bracket. Baruch hu et Adonai Amorah Baruch Adonai Amevorah Amevorah Leolam Vaed Amevorah, Amevorah, Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. We will continue on page 31, 149 in the bracket. in the top in English together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. We continue on page 33, 151 in the bracket, top of the page, together in English. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Pages 34, 35 have the Shema 152 and 153 in the electronic version. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. We continue on page 37, 155 in the bracket. In English together, love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. We turn to page 39, 157 in the bracket, and we will read the bottom part responsively. You join in with the indent. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory, the earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again, you overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Okay. We are going to, hopefully I have the voice for this tonight. If you can, 342, yeah. The voice and the page. We're going to dovetail two songs together. This was originally done by Debbie Freeman. She had a shorter version. We're going to do the full songs on both. So if you have a paper copy, you're going to put your finger in at 342, which is 646 in the brackets. And then we're going to start out on page 40, 158 in the bracket. And when I do this from left to right, as I'm oriented, we go to 342. And then I do this, we come back, that's from right to left. We go back to page 40 and finish up with the moment. Micha mocha bali Madonna, Micha mocha nera bakodesh, Norati lo tosefele, Norati lo tosefele. Malchutacha ra'u vanacha, Ocheyom lifnei Moshe Miriam, Zelianu v'maru, Zelianu v'maru, Adonai yimloch leolam, leolam va'ed, Adonai yimloch leolam, leolam va'ed. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every thread and every strand she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances towards the light, and the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. As Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the seas, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass from freedom, march to the promised land. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice and song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're going to dance tonight. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. V'ne'ema kifad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo miad hazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. We turn to page 43, 161 in the bracket. And let's read together in English the top part. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace, rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, Hakori sukat shalom aleinu, ve'akol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. So we come to page 44, 162 in the bracket. for the covenant of Shabbat. And it immediately is followed by the tefillah, which goes from 46 to, I believe, 62. Yeah, and that's that is 164 through 180 in the electronic version. And I like to just have us go one right into the other. I was looking on the calendar to see if are we on the cusp of a new moon, to see whether or not we needed to include those prayers. The new moon actually begins tomorrow at sundown, not tonight at sundown. So we're not including the additional prayers for the new moon. It is a transition from Av, a month that has historical pain for us as a people, to the month of Elul, which, if I recall the acrostic, is I am my beloved is mine, which is an interesting lead up to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, because that's the very next month. When we do Shabbat at home, I sing the following tefillos. Ani ledodi, ledodi li. Ani ledodi, ledodi li. Ani ledodi, ledodi li. Ani ledodi, ledodi li. I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine. So we're going to stand for the covenant of Shabbat. If you want to stand, but know that we're not going to. If you don't want to stand, we're not going to pause before going to the Amen. Page 44, 162 in the bracket. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledoret ha-meridolah. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledoret ha-meridolah. B'ni uvein b'nei Yisrael, et hi le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledoret ha-meridolah. Ki sheshet ha'amim asa Adonai, et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledoret ha-meridolah. Uvayom hashavi shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledoret ha-meridolah. Adonai, Sevatai Dikaku Fia Gitaila Techa. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah,
Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Befanea Hakol, Bezoker Hasadei Avot Ve'imahot, Umavei Gelulah, Lebenei Benehem Laman Shemo Be'ava, Melech Roser Mashiach Magei, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magei Abraham Ezrat Sarah, Atah Leolam Adonai, Michael Yaakov Harav LaHoshia, Mori Hatal, Michachel Chaim Bechesed, Michael Hachol Berachamim, Sohomech Noflim Yerthech Holy, Umati Asuri, Umichael Emunato, Lishanei Afar, Micha Mocha Al Umido Melech, Melech Emi, Umichael, Umasmiach Yeshua, V'nei Anatah L'chayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayei HaKol. Continue with either the prayers in this book, another book, or simply from the heart.
Say shalom, vimromas, say shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'maromein, Amen, 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 Vimaro, Amen. Where are we? I thought I heard it. Yeah. Close enough for me. I mispronounce things in at least 4 languages. Evidenced tonight, I'm sure. It has the distinction of being the longest parsha in Devarim, or Deuteronomy. This is part of Moshe's farewell address. We get the line we hear repeatedly, set before you this day is life and death, good and evil, choose life that you may live. But we also get a tremendous long litany of what our failings were as we wandered through the desert. It's like Moses is there taking the role of, yeah, you people messed up here, you messed up here, you messed up here, you messed up here. Why do we have this reminder? Why do we have this retelling? It's already been retold earlier, but we're getting this. This is like Moses knows he's going to die. He's not going to get into the land. And he's making sure that not only are we getting told the things that, you know, when you have someone that you care about and you're coming to the end of your life, you want to remind them that you love them, not just with the affection, but also sometimes there's some behaviors that are either destructive to others or self-destructive that need to not be repeated. Which, of course, in later books, we find out we repeat almost all of them. But throughout this, we're still not forsaken. We have consequences, but we're never forsaken. There are people whose view of our people externally for thousands of years was that we were forsaken. And a tragedy occurs if we internalize an external view of ourselves that simply is not correct. Oppression of our people is not justifiable as saying, oh, this is God's doing. They're working as agents through us. There are people who have perverted that to even say the Holocaust was the hand of God chastising us for this thing or that. An utter, complete nonsense, and even worse, it's a perversion of our own text. When God is going to chastise us, God says so. There's nothing oblique, covert, or implied about it. We have these books called Nevi'im, this collection, Nevi'im, the prophets. they make it absolutely clear. We need to be careful not to look at tragedies that occur against our people as being divine in origin of some sort of punishment. And we are coming up to a time in an approaching month, this month of Elul, that's going to be starting sundown on Saturday, where we begin a great amount of introspection and preparation for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. We have that because we are loved, not because we are forsaken. And right before Rosh Hashanah, we will have the Shabbat before Rosh Hashanah is Slichot. And the key of Slichot is to not begin with our own penitential prayers, but to begin with prayers of forgiveness, particularly to those who have wronged us. It's a concept. Before we even ask for forgiveness, we have to have a forgiving heart. That doesn't necessarily mean forgive bad behaviors, but to not be grudge-bearing and holding that eternally over somebody's head. So as we begin this transition that culminates with the High Holy Days, I want to leave you with the thought that sometimes we are told things that we're uncomfortable with because somebody cares enough to have the integrity to be honest with us. That too is love. Shabbat Shalom. We turn to page 253. On our list for healing, we have the following. Marvin Rafaela Bat Sarah Imenu, Jason Bloomberg, Tim Solon, Ed Clark, Eliava Bat Sarah, Malka Bat Esther, Cheryl Cohn, Patrick Van, Amy Davis, David Shlomo Ben Chaya Yocheved, Dorothy Feldman, Lila Galinsky, Jackie Giorgio, Joe and Priscilla Golden, Rivka Chaya Bat Hana Rivka, Hana Rivka Bat Sarah, Morris Gardner, Babs Klein, Yaakov Ben Menachem Mantacha, Barbara Bracha Bat Henya Mantacha, Henry Stinson and Melvin Sanders, Roger and Patricia McDaniel, Donna Pepper, Benjamin David Ben Talia Ruth, Micah Ben Talia Ruth, Georgia Young, Mary Ann Palmer, Dwayne Zobel, John Slingwine, Adrian Mantacha, Sigurd Johnson, son of Otto, Kara Johnson, Ord Raz Mantacha, Aharon Yaakov Ben Pesach, Sue Decker, Carol Hirschman, Debbie Collier, Rick Padilla, Karen Everett, Jamie Tenorio, Leo and Derek Robinson, Lonnie Redenauer, Mary Wilsey, Alex Prem Misler, Margaret Eisenbach Bloomberg, Matthew Snyder, Tikva McKinnon, Deb Whaley, and Reverend Bob Murphy. In the room here, is there anyone who wants to add a name for Misha Barak tonight? On Zoom, if there's anyone who wants to add a name, please unmute yourself and say their name.
Yoshua Nachum Ben Ruth Adina, Elisa Pomerantz Burrow.
And if you think of a name after you walk out of the room, it's okay, it still counts. It's the people we hold in our heart. That's what matters the most here. Together on page 253, 371 in the bracket. Misheberach Avotenu Mikor habracha Laimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a Amen. Misheberach imotenu mechor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalama, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We turn to page 282. We will rise for the Elenu. It begins on 282 or 586 in the bracket. It goes to 284, 588 in the bracket. And then we go to 287, 591 in the bracket. We're just going to do these in succession. I won't be calling out pages in between them. Rise if you are able, or rise in spirit. God understands. Leinu l'shabeach l'dom hakol, l'tegedu la'leoseh reshit, shelo asam rigoye haratzot, velo samanu t'mishpachat ha'adama, shelo sam delchenu lahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamona, v'onachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ ומושל יקרום בשמיים ממעל ושתין עתוזו וגובה מרומי Eloheinu Meino, Emes Malkeinu Efesulato, Kavgatu V'Torato, Elatayom, Ashafota, Elamayam, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, V'Shamayim Ima'al, Ve'al Haaretz, Ve'al Haaretz, May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love each of us with the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear, doubt, and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with joy, of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'nei ma'haya Adonai l'melech ha'kol ha'aretz v'yom ha'hu yeh Adonai echad u'shamo echad. You may be seated. We recall those who in our community have died in the past year. Paul Smith White, Agnes Weinstein, Sophie Halfin, Marilyn Beeman, Rebecca, daughter of Eva and Shai, Joel Bloomberg, Mike Smith, Jay Stark, Tama Nisbet Wolf, whose celebration of life was today. We also are mindful of those whose yahrzeits fall in the upcoming week. Goldie Ruth Zuckerman, Paulette Boren, Sarah Goldstein, A. Joseph Goldstein, Molly Meadow, Harav Zvi Lieb, Rabbi Larry Mobley. Esther. Oh. Actually, that's it for the upcoming week. We turn to page 290, 594 in the bracket. 290, 594 in the bracket. Number 4. Why should I wish to see God better than this day? I see something of God in each hour of the 24, at each moment then, together. In the faces of men and women I see God, and in my own face I see. I find the letters from God dropped on the street, and everyone is signed by God's name. And I leave them where they are, for I know that wherever I go, others will punctually come. We turn to page 294, 598 in the bracket. If there are mourners among us, please rise. And if there are those who care to stand in support of mourners, please rise. And if there are those who care to stand for those who have no one to remember them except us, please rise. Yit Gadol v'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Ve'amah V'Barak Yirutei Ve'amlech Malchutei V'chaye Chom V'yomei Chom U'v'chaye B'kol Beit Yisrael B'Galav V'Zman Kariv V'Meru Oni Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Omei Omaya Yitbarach Yitbarach Yishpa'ah Yitbarach Yitnaseh Yeshata Yitolei Yitwal Shemei Kusha Yirafu Le'ela Mifor V'Herata V'Shirata Tushkata V'Nefamata Tamiram V'Omal V'Meru Oni Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu V'Kol Yisrael V'Meru Oni Osei Shalom Nimramav Huya Asei Shalom Aleinu V'Kol Yisrael V'Meru Oni. And I think I may have erred, and if so, I apologize. Was there anyone who wanted to add a name? My apologies to the mourners who are present. On Zoom, is there anyone who wanted to add a name? Okay. Now that I've made that teshuva for my chet, Phyllis, do you have any announcements for us?
Thank you all for coming. Please join us for Oneg afterwards in the social hall. Okay, announcements. We have dancing at noon on Sunday. Bibles and Beer resumes at 5:30 at Uncle Charlie's on Monday night. Next weekend, we have a treat. We have a scholar in residence, Rabbi Robert, I'm not sure if you pronounce it Sanders or Saunders, but he's from Montrose, Colorado. And he will be here Friday night leading services. There will be services next Saturday morning, week from tomorrow, the Shabbat at 10 a.m. And I believe the sisterhood is doing a lunch afterwards. But I was not at the sisterhood meeting, so watch. Yes?
Yeah, we
Okay, thank you. Somebody was there. Thank you. And probably around noonish. And as far as I know, that is all that will be going on with Rabbi Sanders. And then I guess that's it for next week.
September 21st is the Das of wine and chocolate tasting, and the regional president to it's a short video of what's going on and what's going on in the hospital and stuff. So everyone's welcome. It's Sunday and it'll be at 3:00.
At your house.
And I think since Phyllis and I were here last, she's retired from the state. Mazel tov. All right, Adon Olam on 321, 625 in the bracket. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra Le'nasa v'chesa kol Azoi Melech Shamo Mikra Le'akarei Kiklon HaKol Levado Yemloch Nohora V'hu Haya V'hu Hoveh V'hu Yeh B'tifara V'hu Echad Ein Sheni L'hamshi Lo L'hachbira V'li Reshit V'li Tachlit V'lo Haoz V'hamisra V'hu Eli V'chai Goeli V'tzehev Li V'yetzara V'hu nisi umanos li menat kohosi beyom ekra beyado achidruki b'yeti sham b'ha'ira v'imruki gaviyati Adonai li v'lo Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Thank you so much, Jason. Excellent service as usual.
Thank you.
Yashikov. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, and again, thank you so much, Jason.
You're very welcome. Good night, folks.
Shabbat Shalom, Jason. Thanks for the update on Dorothy.
Yeah, sorry to be
Thank
the
you.
bearer of bad news, but
I appreciated it.
we just found out from her family right before we got here.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Okay, good night.
Good night. Good Shabbos.
Shabbos.